best time. Right, girls?
Yes, Luna. We're sisters now.
The enemy of my enemy's enemy is my enemy's enemy's enemy, or something like that.
Just a baby birdie, a loopy lizard, and a pathetic pussy.
Hi guys, welcome to another one of my unnecessary yapping for this children's show. If you clicked on this, you're a real one. Thanks for being here. Today I shall rant about the terrible trio, PJ Masks' most iconic villains. They were the OGs. I shall go into a deep dive on their characters today and ramble about things that probably don't even make sense. You have been warned. So without further ado, let's start. Let's talk about our favorite moon maniac, Luna Girl. She is actually the most fleshed out of the three in the earlier seasons, but at the cost of her relevance and writing down the line. I'll explain that later, but first, let us talk about Book Luna, or Saucerline. Basically, TDLR, PJ Masks get their powers from spirit animals, protecting children from nightmares, and Luna doesn't have one, since she's an insomniac and can neither sleep nor dream. So she does everything to try and get everyone's spirit animal with the mindset of, if I can't have one, no one can. In another book, she has a motivation and behavior similar to the show, being that she starts stealing toys on her birthday because no one remembered her, which is really sad, to be honest. Show Luna has been shown multiple times to have a kind heart under her terrible actions. She wants attention and figured out that stealing toys and other things is the best way to do it, since she's somewhat hesitant to open up. However, the cause of her wanting attention is never really expanded upon, and we don't know what really caused it. But the best we know is that she's lonely. That's a big part of her character. Luna is literally meaning moon. The moon symbolizes cycles and time, mystery, change, and the duality and even complexity of life. These themes tie into Luna pretty well. Hold on to your Luna magnets, because I'm diving straight into the deep end. Ever heard of the phrase status quo is God? This means that whatever happens, no matter how extreme, everything will return to normal in the end. You can tell this happening in the show itself, but there are times where it deviates from this and causes changes that stick. Like new PJ powers, for example. This creates a cycle. In Luna's case or cases, Luna is mean, PJ Masks stop her, Luna retreats. Or villain tries to destroy the moon, Luna gets help. Luna enjoys the company, then the day or night is saved. No matter how much she enjoys the PJ's company, the executives cannot afford or even fathom a major villain turning good. Oh well, this ties into moon phases, a way of telling time. These phases could be represented in Luna as she is phasing, like, you know, a good phase, bad phase, what have you. Anyways, moving on. Mystery is also a big part of her character. Luna herself is also mysterious due to the fact that we originally did not know why she stole, or why she even came down to Earth. But eventually we did find out about it, and that's what I'm gonna talk about next. Change, the one thing she was deprived of. She started out as a villain, but slowly over time she began to change or phase into something else. An anti-villain. The more time she spent with the PJ Masks, the more she realized that villainy isn't what she wants. It's connection. I do not know where to insert this, but I have a stretch to make. Luna has her magnet to pull things and attract them to herself. Could this be a symbol of how she wants to pull people to her due to her loneliness? The magnet can also repel, as someone told me, like she's pushing people away. Okay, I will calm down now. In the episode Gecko Saves Christmas, it's revealed that Luna doesn't have family or friends to celebrate the holidays with, so the PJs invite her along. Not only does she give the presents back, but also she gets along with the PJs and enjoys it. For once, her thoughts aren't about what she should steal next or how lonely she is. It's about how much fun she's having, especially with Gecko. Like 11 episodes where she helps. PJ Masks, like at this point, just joined the crew already. Wait, you can't, I forgot. This is all good and well until a couple things ruined her for good. First being Motsuki. If you perchance don't know who she is a Season 3 character created by Luna and her moon magic. She is an anthropomorphic moth girl, who Luna calls her younger sister. I have mixed feelings about this morbid abomination. On one hand, she's ugly and she ruins Luna's character arc. But on the other hand, she has her moments where she shines. Like one of my favorite episodes from this show, Big Sister Motsuki, where she turned the PJs plus Luna and Romeo into babies and she has to learn responsibility. Anyways, onto the part where I said she ruined Luna's character arc. Before Motsuki, Luna's whole thing was her being lonely and bored, simply wanting human connection. And as a result of that, she thought that stealing and causing havoc was the best way to go about it. Now that is solved with Motsuki. You may think that's a good thing, and yes, on paper it's pretty strong of a solution, but in practice, not so much. Motsuki made Luna and her character so boring. Yes, they have cute moments together, but Luna's original motivation is gone. That would have been something if that stopped her villainy, now that she had company. But no, she was still a villain. I mean, there are moments where Luna's original character shone through. In an episode I can't bring myself to remember, Luna was hanging out with the PJ Masks, more specifically Owlette, for a villain plan, and ended up actually wanting to go through with the friendship before Motsuki knocked her back to her senses. Trust me bro, this is real. This leads me to talk about the final nail in the coffin for Luna. Season 5. The season opened with a sisterly feud that ended up with Luna stranded on Earth and Motsuki on the moon. This was promising. The writers ended up going nowhere with this, and the sisters suddenly made up at the end of the season. Like, I thought we were going to get a breakthrough with this and Luna's character arc, but no, wasted potential. But, as I keep saying, there are parts post-Motsuki which Luna shines. Ahem. Heroes of the Sky. It has an amazing moral, being don't let a grudge get to you. It's okay to be mad. Don't let that affect your actions, and also doing the right thing. Here, Luna actually learns to work together with the PJs and put their differences aside. Here, it's different from all the other times since Luna internalizes it. Here it feels warmer, and that warmth feels earned. Also, how can we not forget about the Lunalette moments? Oh my god. Jumping off the flying factory to save Luna with no powers, returning back Luna's things and trusting her with them. The hug at the end. Heroes of the Sky is really good, you guys should watch it. Please, I'm begging you. Ah yes, our favorite lazy ninja who almost never lifts a finger and lets his ninjalinos do all the work. But is this truly laziness or something else? Now first things first, he is a ninja and ninjas have it rough. During training, they are pushed to their limits almost every day in their training sessions. This leads them to becoming competitive against each other, mostly for the attention of their masters or trainers, and to be powerful for self-defense purposes. Being a ninja presents a multitude of problems, including a very short life most of the time due to constant danger, intense training, mental problems, and a dangerous environment where friends today can turn to enemies tomorrow. Not to mention extremely dangerous missions that can be life-threatening, and even if they did manage to back alive, failure to do the mission results in death or severe punishment. In multiple episodes, it has been stated that Night Ninja and his ninjalinos both live and train in some form of ninja school, which is not on Mystery Mountain, I believe. Also in the episode Christmas Ninjalinos, Night Ninja states that he has never received a gift before, which implies that his parents were rather absent and or neglectful. Another possibility is that he and his family could be dealing with poverty or some ancient strictness from the temple he trained at, but then again it was never specified. Despite his supposed laziness, he is actually really responsible and knows how to solve problems fast. Once again, this could be credited to his upbringing and training. This is also something he consistently shows in his care for the ninjalinos. He never physically abuses them at all, and at most just insults them. He cares for his ninjalinos, who in turn look up to and care for him. The ninjalinos do this thing almost, if not all children do. Look up to and follow whoever they think are cool, whether it's a sibling, or their parents, or even teachers and friends. We will probably never know if Night Ninja and the Ninjalinos are related, but we're sure as hell that they treat each other like family. Night Ninja's villain motivation is primarily to be the best, whatever that means to him. Also, stealing something he wants is another motivation of his, along with doing pretty harmless things like shoot a movie or play some sports. Harmless if literally anyone else but the villains do it. Like this guy steals artifacts to shoot a movie and covers the entire town in sticky splat while playing football. Anyways, back to the point. I believe being the best for him is tied into how he was raised. Being the best to him means outshining everyone else and proving that he's worth it. Worth someone's time, money, and even his ninja training. Think about it. Students, not just in martial arts training, constantly push themselves to the limit due to extreme pressure by expectations of those around them. Being compared to others who are better than them in every way, without even straining a hair on their head. It's frustrating. Take it from me as an academic student and a Taekwondo student in the past. I have experienced these and are still experiencing these firsthand. This could be why he's pretty lazy. He's already been through and done a lot during his training. So when it's just him and the Ninjalinos, there's no more reason to work anymore. And also he can finally take a chill pill. That's probably why he hasn't gone insane from academic pressure yet. Not to mention that ninjas were trained to control and suppress emotions. Explaining his huge ego and what we've discussed so far. This ties into what he does in the show. He's constantly showing off, looking for ways to prove himself, even if he's not that good at it. Like the singing episode way back in season 1, where he tries to be a pop star by singing only to break countless windows. I'm still waiting on an episode where Romeo and Night Ninja team up with a loudspeaker and terrible singing. I got sidetracked again, moving on. This could explain why he keeps trying to take over Mystery Mountain. Not only does he want the secrets of the mountain, but also the validation and approval of others upon conquering it. The Ninjalinos look up to him immensely. They want to be as cool and as strong as him, which is great, but also means Night Ninja has to be a role model to them at all times, which is pretty exhausting already. That is probably another reason we don't get to see a vulnerable side to him that much, since his ego prevents him from opening up. Next, symbolism. He wears a mostly dark blue colored bodysuit with stars on it. The dark blue part makes it easier for him to blend into the night for sneak attacks and stuff, which is really cool and practical at the same time. But then the stars are a striking white, which messed that part up entirely. That leads me to believe that maybe that was intentional. He may never truly blend in and fit to his harsh training and be the best ninja ever trained. He may never be the best model or caretaker, but where does the crave for approval stop? If you are never proud of yourself, the praise from others will never be enough. No one is perfect. That's what makes humanity human. Ah yes, the mascot of my channel, Romeo. He is the least sympathetic and least fleshed out villain. That does not work in my favor. So before I rant about show Romeo, let's turn back in time to the books. Gosh, I love Book Romeo with my heart and my soul. So, Book Romeo. In the books, he actually has backstory and a good motivation other than world domination for the fun of it. And then what? In the books, despite being a genius, and he is a genius in his own right, he is constantly bullied by his classmates because of his terrible grades. In the book, it only showed his terrible academic capabilities in English, where he just drew scribbles on the paper and called it poetry. But I would like to think he sucks at other subjects too. This leads him to try and destroy the school, or do something catastrophic every night for revenge, to finally silence the bullies that echo in the back of his mind every time he goes to sleep. Also take this with a grain of salt, because I forgot who said this to me, but someone told me that Book Romeo has the same insomnia problem as Luna, but he doesn't mind it much if at all. However, I have yet to find any evidence of this in the books. Now, in one of my favorite books of the original book series, being Operation Zero, shows our pathetic child's backstory. Of course, the PJ Mean Girls bully him themselves over the course of the book, but it also shows Romeo's inner thoughts, when all his defenses and walls are down. Literally, as in, all his stuff is destroyed, and he is left defenseless, and also metaphorically. As well, we finally get to see his inner thoughts. He considers himself a useless person, wallowing on how he will never be enough and will always be a zero forever, both in school and in life. Here we see that his motivation is not just revenge, but he too wants to prove himself that he's more than a failure, but there's a feeling deep inside that has long accepted his fate, but nevertheless, he still keeps on fighting. Of course, the PJ Masks aren't completely evil and actually try to comfort him. Then of course they relay the moral of that book, which is so good, by the way. No one is good at everything. There will always be some things you're good at and some things others are good at, and that's okay. Just keep trying your best. Oh my gosh, that is the best thing to have ever come out of this franchise. Funny how this also applies to Night Ninja too, but that part is self-explanatory. And this is a Romeo chapter, so I will keep talking about him. Fun fact, the gecko in Speak Up Gecko was directly inspired by the Romeo we see in Operation Zero. I will never shut up about. Also, I have a headcanon that Romeo has a grudge against the color red, since it's the color of pen that the teachers grade his failing marks with. Book Romeo is surprisingly a lot more mature than show Romeo, despite being around the same age. Possibly in one of my other favorite books, Robot Blizzard, the PJ Masks intentionally become the villains of the night, all because they got bored. They saw a robot with a clear sign saying, "Don't touch," and of course they touched it, leading to the city covered with eternal snow. Romeo, minding his own business, was rightfully pissed off about the whole thing and gave them a piece of his mind by dropping this line. You were searching for villains, and because of that, you became the villain yourselves. Which is absolutely fire, you go king, tell them, oh Fef. But of course, he was gaslighted by the PJ Masks into helping them by them trying to compliment him when in all their previous meetings was them bullying him, which is pretty funny. But Romeo literally handles the situation so well. He's now in charge, leading the PJ Poopers and telling them exactly how to turn the robot off. No strings attached, no secret plan to ruin them in any way. Sure, I mean he had to do it unless everyone dies and the city becomes a frozen wasteland, but you get what I mean. Of course the PJ Masks thank him by gaslighting him by saying how he's the real hero, which thankfully Romeo gets offended by and does not accept. Like seriously, the book PJs are on a whole different level. Don't get it twisted. Just because there's all this doesn't mean he's not a villain. He's still the most dangerous. He created Ortisha to cover the school in dangerous plants. He tried to cut the moon and sell it as cheese. And he's the leading cause of deforestation, which basically ended the world at one point since he disrupted a dream forest. Book Romeo is the most fleshed out and, dare I say, interesting character. Then we have Show Romeo. Unapologetically evil, no backstory, no parents, no human friends, and all he does is plan world domination. Why? I have no idea. He has no plan after that. I don't even think he goes to school, which I could credit that to his book backstory. But then again, that I think isn't canon to the show continuity. He's incredibly dangerous, attempting multiple times to destroy the moon and asteroids. Stolen the PJs and many others' powers for his own, greed multiple times, tried to use the Ninjalinos as free child labor, tried to conquer a whole other planet, tried to rob Santa Claus, and attempted both a 6-time and 9-time homicide and kidnapped people and PJ Robot multiple times. Truly devastating. But then again, there are times where a little pity can be given to him. Like in one of my favorite episodes, Flying Factory Out of Control, where he mentions that his birthday was never celebrated before, which is a pretty dark implication. I also noticed that he doesn't have a lot of friendly interactions with other characters aside from his robots. Sure, you have the villain alliances, but that's more of a business interaction. He's actually pretty lonely now that I think about it. In the episode PJ Robot vs. Romeo, he openly stated that the reason why he kidnapped PJ Robot is because he was worried that Minibot would choose the PJ Masks over him, which again, in typical Disney Junior fashion, was not expanded upon any further. Also Mabel. Anyway, she is a supercomputer from the episode Lost in Space who tried to kill everyone including Romeo. She was incredibly commanding and even insulted our pathetic child multiple times to gaslight him into giving up and being imprisoned in his own flying factory and hiding behind the PJs. Whenever she speaks, which may not sound like much, but given the trust he has in the PJ Masks, That's actually pretty sad. Also, I firmly believe why he is the way that he is because he was not taught the difference between knowledge and wisdom. So he believes his twisted way of seeing the world and its systems is the right one, and he enforces it onto others because he doesn't know any better. Which reminds me of one crucial thing. Romeo is a child and a genius. That's highlighted in a lot of things. First of all, for the genius part, that's pretty self-explanatory with the fact that he can back up all his claims. Like in the episode Romeo Vision, he makes a remote out of extremely limited materials in under seconds. That's actually insane. Another thing is that for the longest time now, Romeo had no connection with magic. All his powers, his strength come from him, and his brain. That's what made him the most dangerous. Up until season 6, of course, with the whole telekinesis thing, but I have to admit even those powers are cool on him. Anyways, for the child part, I mean, this show has all its main characters as children, but also a couple other things. Romeo is shown to enjoy nursery rhymes enough to hum them, like shown in the episode Slow and Steady, and have a stuffed animal named Professor Snuggles, and has stolen a few other stuffed animals to host tea parties. On yet another episode I forgot the name of and his inventions, which remind me of toys like the Big Box of Bad being a jack-in-the-box, because of the little flag that pops up when you press a button, for example. Also him making robots and plushies. His company reminds me of children making imaginary friends to cope with loneliness and other problems. This all concludes to one thing. Yes, Romeo is the most dangerous villain, but he is still a child. He can change for good. That combined with his genius, he can genuinely be a good person if he tried. There's already evidence of this in Romeo Vision, how he helped save everyone from being trapped in the television. Yes, I know his factory was going to get destroyed if he didn't do anything, but still, it's a start. As well as in PJ Robot vs. Romeo, he actually listened to PJ Robot's feelings and worked with him to fix the flying factory, and I know factory was going to get destroyed, blah blah blah. Even accidentally called PJ Robot by his actual name, J Robot. Even though it was an accident that it slipped, it still proves that he values PJ Robot's feelings enough to call him by the name he wants to go by, even if Romeo only calls him that in his head. Also in a couple more episodes, where he helps them out to clean up after his own messes. So yeah, that's all I have to say today. Thank you so much for sticking with me, and with that, I'll get you next time.